Forget every Zodiac jealousy ranking you've seen. They're shallow, oversimplified, and honestly, they're wrong. This is the psychological breakdown you were looking for. We're going from number 12, the least jealous sign, all the way down to number 1, the most intense. And along the way, I'll decode the real emotional wiring underneath each one. I promise you, the top 3 will describe someone in your life so precisely, you won't be able to unhear it. So let's start at the very bottom of the drama ladder, with the sign that's practically jealousy-proof. That sign is Aquarius. And yeah, this lines up with a lot of those viral rankings you've probably seen floating around, but those lists almost never tell you the real why. The psychological key here is what we call low attachment anxiety. This isn't about being cold. It's about a deep need for personal space and a genuine aversion to emotional drama. Jealousy demands a kind of intensity and possessiveness that just doesn't compute for them. They're not out here competing for attention. They're standing back, watching, running it through logic. If they start to feel boxed in or emotionally cornered, their instinct isn't to push back and fight. It's to quietly detach and reclaim their space. It's that classic Aquarius energy of, if you want to go, go. I'm not fighting for attention I never asked for. Now move just one step up the jealousy ladder and we hit 2 signs that are almost as unbothered, but for completely opposite reasons. One values freedom way too much to bother with the drama, and the other, their mind simply moves too fast to get stuck on it. Welcome to ranks 11 and 10. Coming in at number 11, we've got Sagittarius. For this sign, jealousy doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it crashes straight into their core operating system, freedom. Psychologically, this lines up with an avoidant attachment style. They don't read jealousy as all they care. They read it as an emotional chain, a weight, and they are not here for that. Honestly, confrontation for them is a terrible return on investment. A noisy argument over feelings, low yield. A spontaneous flight to a new city. Now that's a high-yield return. So when they sense potential drama building, their first move is to mentally check out and start planning the next escape route. Thinking, relax, the world is huge. I'm not stressing over this. Next, at number 10, we have Gemini. Their jealousy can flare up, but it has the lifespan of a spark. Quick, bright, gone. The psychological driver here is high cognitive flexibility. Their minds are processing information so rapidly that there's simply no bandwidth to hold a single negative emotion for very long. You know, picture this. They spot a questionable text on their partner's phone. Heart rate spikes, mind races, for about 5 minutes. Then a notification for a new podcast episode pops up, and just like that, their brain has latched on to the next input. The jealousy isn't resolved. It's simply displaced. So we've now cleared the signs that are practically immune to jealousy. But this is where the game changes. We're entering the territory of conditional jealousy. These next signs don't get jealous easily, yet when they do, a very specific psychological tripwire has been activated. Let's be real. Understanding that trigger, that's everything. The first psychological tripwire belongs to our number 9, Capricorn. Jealousy for a Capricorn has to pass a logical review before it does anything. They feel it, sure, but they don't move on it. Not yet. They quietly file it away, waiting for more data, more receipts. Psychology calls this cognitive restraint. Honestly, an emotional reaction without proof. To them, that's just inefficient. So instead of an angry accusation, you'll get a calm, businesslike fact-finding mission. They'll say something like, I noticed you were texting late. I'd like to understand what's going on. They aren't attacking. They're assessing whether this situation actually deserves an emotional investment. Next, at number 8, we have Libra, the master of hiding jealousy behind politeness. Their tripwire is any threat to social harmony and to their curated public image. This comes from what psychologists call high social awareness. On the surface, they might ask with a soft smile, "So, who was that friend you were talking with all night?" But inside, their mind is a whirlwind of calculations, analyzing social dynamics and potential threats. That smile is a strategic mask, a tool to gather information without disturbing the peace. They're quietly trying to work out whether their position with you is actually secure before they dare show any vulnerability. Finally, rounding out this tier at number 7 is Taurus. Taurus is the fortress, calm, grounded, and secure, until their foundation is threatened. Their jealousy isn't some fiery explosion. It's the quiet, immovable stance of a guard whose territory has been breached. Their trigger is rooted in loss aversion, the deep fear of losing the stability and comfort they've worked so hard to build. It's not about controlling you. It's about protecting their emotional security. Once that security feels compromised, their response becomes firm, steady, and unwavering. So here we have the logician, the diplomat, and the guardian, 3 signs whose jealousy is calculated and contained. This group is all about managing jealousy. But the next group, they wear it like a badge of honor. Let's be real. We're stepping out of the realm of thinkers and crossing into the territory of the feelers. Here, jealousy isn't analyzed, it's unleashed. Get ready, because ranks 6, 5, and 4 are a wildfire. And that wildfire starts at number 6, Pisces. Pisces jealousy runs entirely on imagination. In psychology, we call this high fantasy engagement. They get jealous over what could be happening, not what's actually in front of them. Their mind is like a movie director, taking a vague text and spinning it into a feature-length tragedy, soundtrack, and all. You won't always see an angry outburst. Instead, they quietly slip into a world of hurt that feels completely real to them, because in their mind it is. Coming in at number 5 is Leo. Their jealousy ignites the second their spotlight gets stolen, and this part is crucial. It's about wounded pride, not insecurity. Psychologically, this comes from what we call identity-based self-esteem. If someone threatens their position in your life, Leo doesn't sulk in a corner. They start their comeback montage. They show up brighter, louder, more fabulous, strategically reminding you and everyone else who the main character is. At number 4, we hit the flash fire, Aries. Their jealousy is raw, instantaneous reaction. Psychology links this to high emotional reactivity. There is zero internal debate, no evidence-gathering montage. The moment they sense a threat, they go straight at it. The upside? This fire burns out almost as fast as it ignites. They demand clarity, get their answer, and then they're done. No grudge, no replaying it for weeks. They don't have the patience for that. Okay, pause. We're about to step into the top 3, and this is where the game flips. Forget the obvious suspects you've been guessing. The sign at number 3 is the one nobody sees coming, because their jealousy doesn't show up as anger or tears. It shows up as analysis. So, who do you think it is? Coming in at number 3, we've got Virgo. This honestly surprises a lot of people, because Virgo's jealousy doesn't sound like jealousy. It sounds like analysis. They're masters of observation, powered by this psychological engine we call hypervigilance. Their process is methodical. First, their mind, a finely tuned pattern recognition machine, flags a tiny inconsistency. You text back in 10 minutes instead of the usual 5. Second, Before they even admit to feeling anything, their brain has already built an entire detective case, connecting data points you didn't even know existed. Finally, the confrontation arrives, and it's not a shout. It lands as a precise clinical question that cuts right to the bone. So, you usually text back quickly, "What changed today?" They're not looking for a fight. They're looking for the truth. That brings us to our runner-up. At number 2, we have Cancer. Their jealousy is rooted in a profound fear of being emotionally replaced. This is classic attachment-based jealousy. Unlike Virgo's analytical approach, Cancer's jealousy moves like a quiet emotional tide. They won't interrogate you. Instead, you'll feel an emotional withdrawal, a soft sadness. They might go silent or, in a moment of vulnerability, ask a quiet, heartbreaking question like, "Do you still feel the same about us?" They don't want to possess you. They just need the reassurance that their emotional home is secure. And so, we arrive at number 1, the undisputed champion. A sign whose jealousy isn't just an emotion they feel, but a state of being they inhabit. It's a fusion of terrifying intuition and a primal fear of the one thing they can't control: betrayal. Let's meet the master. And that master? Scorpio, the undisputed heavyweight champion of jealousy, sitting at number 1. This isn't coming from simple possessiveness. Honestly, Scorpio's jealousy is a potent fusion of extreme emotional depth, a terrifyingly accurate intuition, and a core psychological driver, a profound fear of betrayal. Picture a detective working in the shadows of a relationship. That is the Scorpio mindset. They're silent, hyper-vigilant observers, collecting data you don't even realize you're emitting. A shift in your tone, a glance held a second too long. These become clues in their all-consuming investigation for the truth. Their jealousy isn't some loud outburst. It's a private, internal state of hyper-awareness driven by one non-negotiable expectation: the same absolute loyalty they offer. For Scorpio, jealousy is a state of being they inhabit whenever their world's foundation, trust, is threatened. So there you have it, the complete psychological ranking from 12 to 1. Let's be real, this was never about labels. It's about understanding the code behind the emotion. Now the real question is, what does your jealousy say about you? It's telling you something. You have an emotional blueprint, a unique code. Jealousy isn't a flaw, it's a signal. Every single sign on that list feels it. The only real difference is the trigger and the response, the why and the how, hardwired into your psychological makeup. And when you understand that code, especially its darker edges, that's the real key to mastering it. Once you know the why behind the feeling, you gain power over the reaction. That's how you build unshakable confidence and truly resilient relationships. So now it's your turn. Drop your sign in the comments and tell me, did we get your jealousy code right? Or did I miss something? I genuinely want to know